coming up right now for another mind-blowing presentation is an award-winning architect. He is a design guru with international experience and unrivaled dexterity. I can tell you without any fear of equivocation or prevarication that our next speaker is an icon in every sense of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking of no other person but the managing partner of Studio Stone Designs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome architect Olumide Ayodele. Don't stop clapping, don't stop clapping. He is a living legend, he is an icon.
Wow. Pressure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to the organizers of this conference for inviting me. I don't know what the presenter is smoking or drinking this afternoon. But thank you. We're still a work in progress. So the status icon, I hope, will still come in future. We're working hard at what we do. I was at a conference like this many years ago, back in England. I studied in the UK, and it was at a conference like this that also inspired me to do some of the things that we are doing now as a company. Actually, today I just want to talk about Studio Stone. Talking about Studio Stone, using some of the lessons that we've learned as a company. I'm not talking about design, because my assumption here is there are architects here, so design shouldn't be a problem for anybody here. It's more about some of the lessons that we have learned as a company, and sort of how we work and how we do some of the stuff that we do. So it's just us really and some of the lessons that we're going to use to break it down. A little background. So like I said, I was in England. I studied in England. I worked in England. I remember 2008, a friend of mine called me and asked me that, okay, his aunt had a property in Lagos and that he wanted me to have a look at it. Up until this time, I'd never really thought about coming back to Lagos. I mean, I knew I was going to come back to Lagos at some point, but I was still gaining experience. My dad, who by the way is also an architect, was someone I was always also in conversation with. So I had a chat with him, and it was like, okay, as they say in Nigeria, is come home, there's no place like home, all that stuff, But I wasn't really having it. So I remember at the time I proposed to my then girlfriend. I begged her and said, look, give me 2 years. After all, I have Riba. I'm all experienced now. I'm going to go to Lagos in 2 years. I'll make so much money and, we'll be sorted. So I thought. So my first lesson, or the first chapter is in perseverance. That's me back in London, being the poster boy of my office at the time. So, of course, I moved back to Lagos. So I met up with my friend. We got the brief, we started on the work. Of course, in my naivety, there was no appointment, there was no letter, nothing. Of course, he's my friend now. We had some sort of agreement on how much we'll be paid and everything. Anyway, we started on with the work anyway. Of course, I was hungry, I wanted anything. So we went on with the work. It was a site in Ikoyi, 3,000 square meters. We did options, we were talking and all that. 6 months down the line, his auntie now came and said, you know what, I'm not interested anymore. So I ran back to my friend and I said, oh God, this was why I came home. This your auntie is not interested. Long and short of it, she didn't proceed with the project. I ran to my dad and said, we had been talking, you had promised that there was something in the offing if I came back to Lagos, where is this thing now? I'm really desperate. Nothing came. So, not that nothing came actually. 2 things always people approach me during that period of my time in Lagos is, Mr. London boy, okay, you've built all these things in London or you've worked on this project. What have you done in Lagos? That was always something that they came at me. So on the other hand, I was the one trying to, oh God, give me work, don't worry, I have this experience, I'll make it work. But so you'd find briefs that will come, they're either trying to pick your brain, they're either trying to, make it, look for ideas to steal from you so that they can go ahead with the project. So nothing really came. So this was perhaps the 7th month. I was broke. I was living with my parents. My girlfriend was on my neck. These 2 years, I hope the money is coming. I was forced to take employment. Actually, that was actual fact, because I didn't really have, seemingly have anything to show for it. So I ended up in a developer's office, and I worked with the developer for about 8-9 months. This was, at the end of the 8-9 months, this was when Sanusi was doing the whole CBN rebranding and everything. So he also went down. He was indebted to the bank, and he also went down. So this is me, a year and a half, no money. My 2 years was nearly up. I was packing my load, nearly going back. But I got this very fantastic big break. This was my big break. It was a boys' quarters in Ikoyi on a 30 square meter land. It was just one room and a store. But hey, I got my first project. So the lesson here, I guess, to the younger ones that are out of school or that are planning, I have this idea to, start my own office, is to persevere. Don't be too quick to want to, start on your own, I would say. During that time, a lot of people will come to me, you should go and gain experience, you should go and work somewhere, you should go and do this. And I think some of those points were quite valid. Second lesson we've learned in the office is collaboration. And we see collaboration really in everything that we do. Some of our best projects come from us collaborating with the client. And when I mean collaborate, it's not just a client giving you a brief and walking off. We like clients that challenge us. We like clients that push our limits. We like clients that, it's always a back and forth. Don't get me wrong, you have some clients that don't have a clue of what they want, but they just need an architect. Yes, we do enjoy those ones, but the ones that really we get something out of are those that really push our buttons and make us do stuff that we like to do. This project was actually the second project that we did in the office. I remember my uncle called me and said, oh, he has a client, he's a UK guy like you, he wants to move back to Nigeria, but he's very, 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 you need to be very patient. But hey, I was looking for work anyway, so that wasn't a problem. I took on the work. But the unique thing about this project is we designed this for a whole year. The project was on site for 4 years. But while on site, the reason why I was on site for 4 years was the client was a very pedantic guy, like I said. He wanted to be in Lagos every time he was building. But the beauty about this project was we designed everything down to the burglar proof in the building. The chairs, the stairs that came from China, the kitchen that came from Europe, even how the detail of the drain and everything was, we designed everything. Even up till now, this project is a reference point in the office because we have piles and piles and piles of drawings of it. And I think the reason why it was successful, like I said, is the collaboration. The client was also a discerning client. He knew what he wanted. He pushed us to do what, we both enjoyed. So it was always a mix and match. We were always working together to achieve this. And like I said, when we were on site, this is the only project I've been on site where we did not have to even move a wall because we had looked at all the options in models, in 3Ds, on plan. We shrunk the building, we made it bigger, it went money. But my emphasis here is the time that we spend with the clients in collaboration. Collaboration with staff. A lot of people come up to me and say, you're Studio Stone, and really I'm not Studio Stone. There's a bunch of people behind that make it happen. And I guess it's also an experience that I've had working in the UK. I've always sat in an open plan office so that even while I worked in the UK as an intern, I made an input to some of the buildings that were built. And that is what I've just carried and brought with me back here to Lagos. So we all sit in a 30 square meter studio on the mainland. But we all, because of that, there's a camaraderie. So everyone has an input. So each project in the office, everyone knows about it. Everyone pitches in. Everyone has an idea. And we carry everyone along. So I tell them, this client is not paying, this client is paying, this client. So they know also not just the administration bit, they also know the design bit of the project. Collaboration, like I said, is quite a key thing for us. And I've heard other speakers say here today about partnership and working together. I think it's very important that we also, collaborate with each other. If we collaborate in the studio, what's wrong in us collaborating outside of the studio? And, for me, there's strength in numbers. There are other political things that are happening in NIA and etc., but I'm not going to go into that. But the fact that if we come together and work, I think we can defeat the bigger practices, because a lot of us are younger practices with small numbers, and maybe even tackle some of the foreign practices that are coming, into this part of Nigeria. So for us, thank you. Thank you. So for us, collaboration is actually quite key. We're happy to work with anyone. Well, when I say anyone, like-minded like us anyway. This project in particular is on site now in Ikoyi, and the client is an architect. He came to us, and then we've come to this and we've done this. Out of this project, there's actually come more projects that we're actually looking at on site at the moment. Structure engineer, and I guess I'm mentioning it because I'm trying to also emphasize the fact that you being an architect cannot really stand on your own. You need a team of people, key people. The structure engineer for us is a very key person in the stuff that we do. We are lucky that we have a couple of engineers that we work with that are they take risks, because I think that's key. We've found out that, Nigerian engineers, some of them are averse to risk. They'll give you 300 by 300 columns, that cantilever will not work. And I think it's us also pushing the limits and working with people that can help us achieve what we do is also what we do. 3, passion. I think that is very, very, very important, especially for the young ones. My tutor in school, I'll never forget, we had a crate. And I remember, we had an external tutor, external juror, and he came in and he was telling one of my classmates off, and he was not abusing, but having to go ahead that, you're not an architect. You should go and be an astronaut or something, And the poor girl was there crying. And, that thing hit me, because actually she ended up dropping the course, and because the passion didn't really show, And this is why I tell, especially the interns that come, I don't think it's too late. If you're an architect, I'm not going to say it's rosy. It's not rosy. The roads are rough ahead, and you need to dig deep and know that this is what you want to do. So passion for us is very, very key. Passion, I put this up to just say it's passion that will make you work all night. It's passion that will make you go to buildings, perhaps that you like, to go and inquire about how they've done it. It's passion that will make you go the extra mile in your research, in trying to solve solutions to a project that you're doing. It's that passion that will make you do some extraordinary stuff that you're not doing. In the office, there are some guys that are good designers. There are some guys that are good project managers. There are some guys that are, good planners. And what we also try to do is encourage them. Someone in the office was in Spain for 3 months last year, trying to hone his craft on parametric architecture. We put people for training in terms of project management, and just to encourage them to stick with what they want and go ahead with what they do. Lastly, number 4 is specialization. I say specialization because, funny, I was having this talk this morning with a fellow architect, and as an architect, I tell people, you're always looking for the next job. There's never a point where you feel like, that's it, I'm not taking it. You're always constantly looking for the next job. And for us, till today, we're always saying, how can we break into doing a head office for maybe a bank, or how can we do, a head office for like a Fortune 500 company? We are going into all inroads and all sorts. In the office, we've done stuff, design work for, office, for schools, for churches. We've done master planning, all sorts. But I've come to realize that, petrol stations, refurbishment and so on. But actually, our strength really in the office right now is housing. If it be single dwelling housing or multi-dwelling housing. At the last count, I think we had done over 250 housing types, in Nigeria.
So actually for us now, this is something we're embracing. This is something that we are actually now saying, you know what, maybe for now, forget, please, if you have head office, I'll still build it. But, let's concentrate more on the housing. How do we make this craft for us better? How do we produce housing that are better? I mean, a lot of the stuff that we get, pats on the back or accolades from our housing. So why are we shying away from it? So I guess the lesson here is that, there's nothing wrong in you sticking to theatrical, or stage type architecture. There's nothing wrong in you sticking with just retail type architecture, but find exactly what it is that you want to do, so that, you can carve a niche for yourself in that sector, and, that would help you to sustain your practice. And that's pretty much it, really. That's some of the lessons that we've learned, and we're happy to share with you. Thank you.
Please put your hands together once again for architect Olumide Ayodele.